And good morning. It is Monday once again. How was your weekend? It's December the 16th. We start this morning out at 60 and a little fog in the area. We should get another 10 degrees on this and make it to 70 before the day is out. Complete forecast coming up in a few moments as we get that underway. Don't forget, we'll have headlines, local headlines, beginning at 7 o'clock this morning. Everything that went thump in the middle of the night we'll talk about. That's coming up this morning at 7. Won't you join us? Certainly hope so. We're getting, really, really close to Christmas, aren't we? It is. I hope your loved ones will be with you and you can be with them. If not, make a phone call. It's that time of year we need to do as much as we can to be with those who are still with us. All right, let's go to Collinsville right now. Good morning, Ann. How are you? Miss Gail, Evelyn, so many of you. Let's go to Collinsville now for that good word of the day from Collinsville First Baptist.
Have you ever been caught in a terrible storm? Maybe you didn't look at the weather for the day, or you just missed the big ominous dark cloud hanging out. Perhaps one just came out of nowhere. My mind goes to the guys from the Weather Channel who will, just kind of like lean out in hurricane force winds and not fall over. It's truly insane how massively powerful nature is. And, many times the Bible uses the imagery of the power of nature to convey and communicate the destructive power of sin in our lives. This is what Proverbs 27:4 says. Fury is cruel and anger is a flood, but who can withstand jealousy? Fury is cruel, something not to play with. Anger, it's very similar. It's a flood. It's a powerful force that destructs everything in its path. And for most of us, if we were to compare anger and jealousy, like this verse does, we would say that anger is much worse. But notice what it says here. But who can withstand jealousy? Wow. This text is communicating that jealousy perhaps is even more powerful and destructive than the other two, fury and anger. And why is that so? Well, jealousy can cause us and lead us to commit so many other sins along with it. We know we are told not to covet in the Ten Commandments, and for good reason. With Christmas coming up soon, maybe there's the temptation to make it materialistic and compare what you have to what everyone else has. Don't fall into that trap. I pray that we'll examine our lives and see if jealousy is taking part in it. If it is, we need to repent and turn to Jesus. Who can withstand jealousy? None of us. So let's glorify God by getting rid of it in our lives. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that message. How are you? So many of you up and at 'em. Sheila, good to see you. Sydney is there. Mr. Mark. Teresa Spivey, hadn't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well there. Miss Barbara joins us as well. A great day, as I said. We're about 60 right now as we begin this. We've been hovering between 60, 61 for the last 2.5 to 3 hours this morning. We'll get into that complete forecast in a few moments to let you know what to expect as Christmas comes. I don't think there's going to be snow. I'll go ahead and spoil that for you. As we begin this day, we see that Mariah Carey, very famous. Now, I'm not an expert at other genres of music, but Mariah Carey, I do know the name. She's had to cancel 2 more concerts due to the flu. How awful that is. We do hope she gets to feeling better and we'll be back on the road before long. It's pretty tough there. When you are the show, that flu is bad. So we hope she feels better. I have never seen this happen on an airplane. A flight was taking off from Dallas over the weekend, headed to Minneapolis. Someone went to the restroom. They came back and sat down. The next thing you know, there's water everywhere in the plane. Toilet overfilled with a leak. Well, that was messy, wasn't it? Seriously, I've never seen that happen. I guess probably in the world of airplanes that people that do it more often than me, that's common. But that's a first for me. It was all in the aisle, sloshing back and forth there. Detectives in Ohio over the weekend, they don't know who, what, or why. They just know that it's a homicide. 3 ladies were found after friends went to the house, all 3 deceased. They said there's no drugs involved with this, but they did not give a reason as to the death. It's an investigation ongoing at this point. No arrests have been made. That's awful. 3 friends in a home. We'll see what becomes of that. We'll talk about that more. The United Healthcare guy, you know what I'm talking about? The guy that killed the CEO? Turns out his mother had turned in a missing report 3 weeks before this happened. He went AWOL, so to speak. And that's just putting it lightly, isn't it? I certainly hope folks will pray for his family during this time, the deceased victim. That's awful, is it not? Heightened security around all CEOs that deal with healthcare at this point. We see that in Las Vegas. This happened, and it's the justice system. We're clocking almost 5 years into this. This was 2020. A man in Las Vegas shot multiple people. He has been sentenced to 100 years in jail. He won't be getting out. He did kill one person in it. He shot a lot, killed one. 100 years is what he'll get. That doesn't bring back a life. And the taxpayer will fit the bill from now forward. Well, that's making some racket, isn't it? We'll get that in a second. Let's see here. Swimming pools, movie stars. It happened in California as a car went through a window. It did. Oh, it's floating now. Firefighters had to go in. No one was seriously hurt, but you don't think of that happening. It missed everybody as it went into the pool. A miracle, it is. It's always something. And here's some creative thieves that just didn't really plan out their, break-in. This Washington State is where we go this morning for a robbery that tried to happen as they backed the flatbed truck right through the front doors of the Walgreens. Then they hooked a chain to it. It's kind of like the scene from the Dukes of Hazzard. You remember the safe scene? Well, they tried it with an ATM. Tried to hook around it. Well, it didn't work out for them. They left empty-handed. But we will give them an A for effort. They made a big scene, tore up a lot of stuff, and didn't get anything. My, oh, my. It's all in the movies, I guess. Joe Biden, and I want to be clear on this before I say this. I'm not picking on this woman at all. I'm sure she's done some wonderful things in her life. And let me get her name so that you'll know this. Her name is Frances Perkins. She's from Maine. She served as the longest serving cabinet secretary. She was America's first woman cabinet secretary. She's the longest serving secretary of labor there ever was. Joe Biden is wanting to establish a national monument for her there in Maine for all she did with putting together the New Deal and Social Security and other things. And if I were to check my history, I think that was Franklin Roosevelt that done all that, didn't he? Am I wrong? I thought he did all of that. That falls under you work for that person. Now, it's great that she done all that, but let's not forget who was in charge of that. The Great New Deal. Y'all remember what I'm talking about in history. That was Franklin D. Roosevelt that did that. Sometimes history can be, swayed by those who want to change it. And I'm just pointing the facts of it was Franklin Roosevelt. Again, great woman, I'm sure, but she's not the woman who did that. Malcolm in the Middle, anybody like that? They're considering a reboot on Disney if you loved it a lot. We'll see if that works out for them or not. Good luck to them there. The doctor, if you remember this, he's 88 years old now. Indiana University basketball. He's accused of more or less molesting a bunch of boys while he was the doctor on the team. He has pleaded the fifth as the trial begins. I don't think that's going to shock anybody on that. Nancy Pelosi getting a hip replacement. Did y'all hear about that over the weekend? She fell, a hip replacement. I'm going to volunteer Odie to go over and stay in the hospital room with her, get her coffee, anything she needs. Would you do that, Odie?
I sure will.
He will. I thought Odie would be a team player there. Nancy, seriously, that's bad to be not at home, number one, trip and fall, embarrassing, and then have to have a hip replacement. And she was out of country, is why I say it that way. Again, regardless whether I like Nancy or not, I hate that happened. I really do. That's unfortunate right here. At Christmas time, she will be in the bed next to the hammer guy.
That was good.
Our next one is a sad one, and I do think if I read between the lines of this, couple had family in Mexico as they were visiting Mexico. They were out traveling along in a black F-150. They would later be found deceased. They were shot. They have no clue as to who done it. That's sad, but I do think they had family connections in Mexico. Jamie Foxx, have y'all heard about this? An altercation at dinner at Beverly Hills. A fight broke out. He got injured by a piece of glass to the mouth. Ooh, ouch. We hope he's going to be okay. I'm sure it's minor, but still, that's a superstar getting into an altercation. And he didn't mention this as he went into his broadcast this weekend, and the name I'm bringing up is George Stephanopoulos. And yes, it took me 5 years to be able to say that name, Stephanopoulos. I'm getting better at it. You remember him. He used to be at the White House, worked there a little bit. He's involved in the big payout that happened over the weekend. $15 million. This will be Friday, I think, if I'm not mistaken. $15 million is going to have to be given toward the Donald J. Trump Presidential Library. It's a nice gift. It's from ABC. And Stephanopoulos, as they accused him of rape for which he was not convicted of. Need I say more? He didn't bring it up after this, after he went into his show. He just let it be. The rest of America has a buzz. There's a lot of this, of distrust in media across the U.S. of A. They take narratives their own way. And if you make a mistake of something that's live, then correct it. And say, hey, I made a mistake immediately, as quick as you can. That's sad. That's sad. Do you remember the story we did on Cracker Barrel where the school kids with disabilities showed up? I think it was Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. And the restaurant wouldn't serve those little kids. Well, they've done an internal investigation at Cracker Barrel. They're missing 3 employees this morning. The general manager and 2 others that took part of this were fired for what they did. Cracker Barrel has sent their apologies to the school and all those with disabilities. And that's the sad part is companies like this get a black eye when it truly wasn't them. It was someone who took it on their own accord to act ugly. If y'all could forgive them, it wasn't their fault. It was the actions of individuals and not the company. I'm glad that they've set the record straight. And unlike some companies that do internal investigations and never say anything, Cracker Barrel stepped up and said, our company was at fault because of an employee. We're trying to make it right. I appreciate them doing that. Not everybody gets that these days. Do you remember Clay Aiken? He won American Idol, I think. He's done a recent article while he said that while coming out, it hurt him. That it took 50% of his audience. I really don't think that was a shock to most people. I think they had figured that out, Clay. But he says it hurt his sales. This is horrible. And let me say this. Living in the U.S. of A. is great. Do we have our issues every once in a while? Yes. Do we have fighting amongst ourselves from time to time? We do. We have Republicans, we have Democrats that just can't see eye to eye. But one thing that is beyond the truth is this is the greatest nation upon this earth at this point in time. History may change from now. And I say this by looking at Iraq. This is before, we'll call it their lawmakers, whatever their division of government it is, to where they would allow marriage as low as 9 years old. Now, there's more to that, and you know that as well as I do. It's not approving marriage at 15 or 16. This is just flat out, you know where I'm going with it. It's a shame things like this happen in other countries. And again, we should be thankful for where we live and what we do and while we protect other nations that sometimes can't help themselves against tyrants like that. That is awful. It rattles my soul to even have to say something like that. If they're trying to pass a law against this, you know as well as I do that it is going on behind the scenes now, don't we? We do. I know that's depressing, but sometimes the truth is depressing, isn't it? We'll be right back with that weather forecast and try to cheer you up a little bit as we head toward Christmas. We'll be right back.
This is going to be our biggest year-end clearance event ever here at Doc's Toyota in Philadelphia. Inventory is up and rates are finally down. We promise to save you thousands on any of our new inventory. From Siennas to Sequoias, Camrys to Corollas, Tundras, Tacomas, no matter the model, we will not be undersold. We want your business. With interest rates as low as 1.99%, top dollar value for your trade-in, and thousands off all of our inventory, Doc's Toyota is your clear choice for your next Toyota purchase. So come see us here at Doc's Toyota in Philadelphia, at docstoyota.com or on Facebook, and remember, there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
Meridian's favorite barbecue is Squealer's Barbecue, named the barbecue capital for the state of Mississippi. Whether it's barbecue, wings, or burgers, Squealers simply has the best for a family environment. Every Thursday night, there's live music out on the porch. Takeout orders are welcome, and whether it's your next tailgate or large catering event, your friends at Squealers are there to help. Drop in for lunch today or a night out on the town. Squealers Barbecue, the best in fine barbecue. Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we go back for our record highs, record lows, anybody remember 1971? Boy, we've been hung on this for the last few days of that 80 to 81 temperature record settings. And it was that way today back in 71. Our record low, it'd be kind of hard to find anybody on this one. 1901, it was 11 degrees today. Yeah, we've been kind of, for all of those that want to complain about the climate, we've been cold and hot since time began, haven't we, as we look at this. Let's see what else we've got today. Our record high today should be 70 to 71, depending upon where you are on this line. Philadelphia should see 70. As we get toward Columbus Air Force Base and all up around Mississippi State, we should see 69-ish down through the river. We'll get to 74 as we make it to Natchez, and we could see showers Brandon, west of there, back down toward McGee and Brookhaven, those areas today, even down into the Natchez area. Our side should just be kind of cloudy throughout the day, and we should see that 70-degree weather. As we look at Bama, we should see 71 in Demopolis. Even nice weather in Birmingham, 68. We'll see 69 at Auburn, War Eagles, as we see the peanut part of Alabama, 72 down around Dothan in those areas. As we look at what's coming, a little bit cooler weather moving out with warmer weather, if I said that correctly, weather out to our west. Here's our 7-day forecast of what we are expecting. Today, 70 with a low of 57 tonight. We've got fog this morning. We'll show you on radar where it all is in just a moment there. 10% chance of showers. You never can rule it out. We're increasing to a 30% chance tomorrow. Tonight, we'll jump to a 40% chance of showers, and into tomorrow with that 40% chance of showers there. Low of 43 on Wednesday night. As we move into Thursday, we're looking at 59. Well, not bad. It's cooler. By Friday, we're into the 60s. But lo and behold, look at these nighttime lows as the weekend comes. 31, 29 on Saturday night. Y'all get the firewood out. Call the gas man. Have him come visitate you if you haven't filled up in a while. We don't want you to run out, is what I'm saying. As we look to the 23rd, 55. Christmas Eve, we're looking at 61. A low of 48 as Santa makes his round. Christmas Day, as we all hope for peace on earth, a high of 65. We'll have roughly a higher percentage in the 40s of a chance of showers there in the early morning hours there. 47 for that low that night. 68 the day after Christmas. And as we head toward the new year, we'll see all the way through the 30th. Sunshine with highs in the 60s. We're going to see anywhere from Christmas Eve to toward the beginning of the year, mid-60s during the daytimes and nighttime lows most likely in the 50s and upper 40s as we move toward the new year. 2025. Boy, that is so close to us. Can y'all believe that? I still remember that Y2 scare downtown Meridian. Y'all remember all that? That's been 25 years. That rattles me. As we go to our fishing forecast, we go to J&J Auto Sales. They tell us the best time to fish today is going to be around 9 o'clock this morning. Should be good till about 11. As we go into the next time that will be great, it will be somewhere around after dark. Can't do that. We've got a minor time right at dusk dark. So your best time today is going to be lunchtime there, 9 till 11 there. Try it out. Hope you can fish there. The wind's going to be south 5 to 10. Not bad at all. As we go to our deer hunters, here we are, major time today. Best you're going to get is at 12:15 through about 2:14 this afternoon. Now, I'm not saying don't go after work. I'm just saying that's your best. Minor times today will be right after dark. Day rating is better. Sunrise happens at 6:49. That's right now. And sunset will happen this afternoon around 4:51. The wind's going to be south again, 5 to 10. Not so bad. You could climb a tree if you'd like to. It's not bad, is it? Let's go to radar now and pull this up so everybody can take a look at what we're showing this morning as you're waking up, heading out to the day. A little bit of fog across Mississippi that we're showing here. We'll show more north of here, up around Starkville. But don't forget these low-lying areas will have a little bit this morning. We got some showers out in Hot Springs, Arkansas this morning. Conway, a little bit there. Fort Smith and those areas into Springfield. all up through here. Jefferson City, Missouri, getting showers. A lot of fog as you get into eastern Bama, Huntsville, Chattanooga. As you get into Athens, around Macon, Georgia, it's going to be covered in all that. Valdosta, if you're going in that direction this morning, anywhere down around the Florida line there at Georgia, a lot of fog up the eastern seaboard as well, up around Savannah. Even Beaumont, Texas, with all that construction, has a lot of it this morning as well. Main thing is be careful where you're going and what you're doing there. Bob, wear a T-shirt and a jacket. Well, that's kind of how you have to handle this weather, isn't it? It's up, it's down, it's sideways. Be prepared for anything. Steve, good morning. Good to see you as well. Robin is up joining us. Nice, pleasing weather. It's not bad. And as we get toward that weekend, several logs on the fire, as they say. We're going to be back in a few moments as we'll give you an update. We had 2 people shot yesterday in the Meridian area. Y'all aware of all this? It happened. We'll give you all the details on that and the things that went, as I mentioned earlier, that went thump in the middle of the night. We'll tell you all about that coming up at the Scotty Ray Report. Won't you join us? Odie's in the house. We're getting coffee ready. I don't see any snacks or biscuits over there. You didn't go by Chick-fil-A, did you?
No, I didn't.
He missed Chick-fil-A altogether. Said he wasn't on his route. We'll see you in just a moment.